So now it's my turn, and I have my little sub-agenda for what I'm going to show you.
Please, Morten, go ahead.
Because this will be more a demo or an explanation of our packing station. And as Stuart said, our packing station, we call it weight price labeling, or just VPL, as in what we call in the daily terms. And before I can show you the VPL station, we need to cover some topics first, because they are keys to the packing station. But I want to show about the Scanplant Basic. Then I want to just show you different pack levels in Scanplant. I want to show some flow questions, which is a kind of our traceability. Then the label designer and the material catalog. And then we'll go through the packing station interface. And then at last I'll make a live demo of the packing station and the reporting. So this is, if you cut Scanplant down to the bone, as I said, then it's basically a storage department and some processing departments. And then you receive goods here on the left side into the storage department. These goods you registered in Scanplant. These goods you can consume to a processing department, manufacture a new material, and then you can consume that to another department and manufacture new material products until everything is dispatched on a sales order to the customer. Last time I have made a webinar with Stuart, we were talking a lot about the storage department and how you handle warehouse management in Scanplant and also the dispatch. Today we're talking about the packing station, some kind of the end just before dispatching. Scanplant has three packing levels, and it's how it's built up, so it's a bit important to understand. But the smallest level is the item, and that is the item you put in the counter at the supermarket. And these items you can put in a box. It can be a cardboard box or a tray or something like that. And that box you can put on a pallet. So this is the three level of palletizing. Some might also need containers afterward, but that's not in Scanplant. Then we have traceability, because a lot of you are working with the meat, and in meat you have different kind of traceability, if it's beef or pork or fish or anything like that. So we made a kind of flexible traceability feature called the flow sequence of flow questions. And this is where you can create your own flow sequence, like with a header. For instance, here I made one called beef, and then you can attach different traceability questions to that flow sequence. For instance, here I made attach born in and read into the beef flow sequence. And there's a list of different flow questions you can select from. And when you use these, then Scanplant knows what is the GS1 AI in the barcode. So for instance, if you use born in as a question, and then you add the barcode to the box label where you put in 422 as the GS1 AI, then it will know that the answer to this born in question will be put into the barcode. So it's linked together. Yeah, and this is just how you set up the traceability in Scanplant Office. So you have a catalog or table where you create all of the headers. So I have a beef, a chicken, a fish, a pork, and reindeer, and then a simple one. And you can create as many as you want. Then on the right side, you attach here you can see for the beef, I've attached 4 flow questions to beef, and I make them active and required, so the operator has to fill them out. Yeah. Then I want to show you the label designer in Scanplant. And if you have any questions, just throw them at me and I'll take them.
Yeah, let's have them in the Q&A if there's anything. I'm keeping an eye on it here.
Yeah. So the label designer. Yes. Here. This is Scanplant Office. So this is the program you normally use at the office, where you configure Scanplant and also you get data back from the production. We have a menu here called Labels Overview. So this is a place where you can see all of the labels you have. And here we have quite a few labels. As I said, it's the packing station, and packing station is VPL, so I want to show the VPL box. And I don't know, yeah, here, the VPL box. And then down here, when I select a label, I get the different revisions of that label in this window. And this shows the latest released version and a draft version, if there's a draft. I can also click on this button, and then it will show me all of the previous versions of the label. So we have a version control of the labels. So then you can go back and find an earlier version of each label. But I want to work on this newest released one. Then here on the right side, I'm sorry, at the bottom you can see which product used this label. So you can see if it's in use. Then on the right side, you can get a preview of the label. So now I will select the packing level, and as I told earlier, there's a unit, box, and pallet, and I want to show a box label. Then I can select the material, for instance, material here. And then it will generate a preview of how that label would look like when it's printed. So all of the black text are fixed fields, and all the blue ones are variables, depending on what you're packing. Yeah. This is the overview. Then now I want to show the designer. So we have a designer built into Scanplant. And here you can either create a new label and select if it's for Scanplant or Espira, because we also support Espira packing machines. But I want to create to load an existing. So I click on this open button and select the VPL box. And then I can select the newest released version, or I can select an earlier revision and then click new draft. Then it opens. Let me zoom in a bit. And then you can see how the label is. Here we have the different fixed text, and you can just and we have some variables. And here you can see there's a little blue icon on the top right side, and that means it's a variable, so it will change depending on what you're packing. Here on the top left side, there's different items you can add to the label. So for instance, a rectangle, a circle, a line, a text box, picture, barcode, and a date. And I can simply click on one, add it here, and then I can start typing demo text. And then I add a new field to the label. I can also select here, I have on the left side, at the bottom, I have all of my variables. So these are variables I can use on the label design. And for instance, I have the material here. I can take the material description and then just drag it in to the label and into this text field. Then I'll get the material description. And then I can, on the right side, change the properties of that field. So if I want it to be a small or a bold, different things like that.
So we can format it.
Yeah. We can format it as you want.
Yeah.
Also, we have you can insert barcodes. For instance, this is a box barcode. So this will be a unique tracking number on the barcode for each box we print. We can also put a tracking number on each pallet and item. And important to tell also is that all fields on this label will be sent as a picture to the printer. So if you put in some Chinese characters or something like that, you don't need to have the font in the printer. You can just put them in here, and then it will work with the printer.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we have some customers that like that. Yes. That was it for the label designer.
Okay.
Then I want to go and show the material catalog. So this is where you tie it all together. Now we've been through traceability and label design and everything like that, and then it's the material you tie it together. So let's get back to that. So here in Scanplant Office, we have catalogs, and there's a lot of catalogs, but it's the product and material catalog is the same. And here we have the different products which is in Scanplant. And there's a lot of different parameters you can see them set on a product if you scroll out on the table. But also all columns are available down here in the tabs where they're grouped in the area they are there with. So I can take the general tab, and here I can see the product number, the description, and different things. If I want to change something, I need to unlock it, and that's just a safety feature, so you don't change anything by mistake. Then I can edit it, and it is changed. We have the labeling. So right now I create my different label designs, and then I can. Here we have these are labels for the item label, and over here there's labels for the box label, and down here for the pallet label. So then I can click on this button, and then I get a list of all of the released label designs, and I can set what label design do I want to use on this material when it's printed. I can also, if I want to have two box labels, I can have select another label design for the second label. We also support some CodeSoft label, but our nice label, but that's not used so much anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, most of our customers use the new built-in label designer. And then we have some label text. If you have a product that you have we have some text to put on a label, and the text is the same for 50 different products, then you can reuse some label text.
And the whole crucial fact here, Morten, is that we are actually linking specific label details with specific products.
Yeah.
And thereby we are reducing the risk for rework and wrong labels.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Then we have some weight configuration. For instance, this product, I can set that it's a fixed weight for the item. Again, we have item, box, and pallet. I can set the lower limit, and the upper limit weight. I can set the tara for the packing material, and what is the target item weight.
Okay, so now we're getting to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can set some of them, or for instance, we have another product. This beef mincemeat that's just a fixed weight, 500 grams. So, yeah. We also have the possibility to add images to a material. So you can drag and drop an image here and attach it to the material, and then it can be shown on the operator screen. And we have some customers that use it for taking pictures of how a pallet should be packed correctly, or how the detailed packing should be correctly. So the operator can see it when they are starting packing, that it looks like they're doing correct.
Yes.
And then last but not least, we have the quality control. In our last webinar, we talked about our QPS system, the quality control system. And if you have a quality control system, then you can create a quality control questionnaire. So the operator has to fill in the questionnaire before he can start packing something. And here you can select which questionnaire should be used before we start packing.
Yeah.
So again, it's all linked together.
Yes.
Yes. That was a lot of things, and there's many more things, but we keep it here for now. Then I want to continue. Yes, that was the material catalog. Then now we get in on the VPL station, or the packing station.
Yeah, and it does look like a lot of information.
It is a lot of information, but you can also do a lot of different things here, because it's one of our standard products, so it can do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And we can configure to show or hide different fields, but it might seem confusing. But so that's why I want to go through all of the different areas of the
because it can be greatly simplified.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. So here on the top left side is the product you're packing and also the production date. If you're packing a box, then you can see how many items do you put in a box. There's a comment field, and there's some different dynamic fields that is hidden right now that will appear depending how the station is configured and how the product is configured. Next one is the weight field, or scale field, and here it can be connected to a live scale. So when you put something on a scale, this the weight will change according to the scale. This is a log, the action log on what you're doing. So every time you make a registration, create a box, item, pallet, or deleting an item, a box, or pallet, it will be added to this log. And you can click on it to enlarge it so it's easy to see. Down at the bottom there is some different control buttons, and I will use most of them in the live demo later, so I don't want to explain them right now. In the middle, on the top, there is you have the selection mode, the pallet size in the registration level. So the packing station can either work on orders, so it can be sales order or production orders. And here you can specify if you want to pack an order. You can also pack on product. That means you just select the product and then you start packing. And we have pack number, and that is a more advanced way of packing products. Then you select how the pallet size and level. Is it only items you want to produce, or do you want to put those items in a box, or will you also put those boxes on a pallet? And the last one is what you're putting on the scale right now and the label you're getting out should that be an item, a box, or pallet label? Yeah.
There's one or two questions coming in the Q&A. Thank you very much, Morten. I've answered the few that I could here locally. We were being asked about what design platform we were using for the labels, and it's our own local design that's built into our system.
Yeah.
And then the other one is about how to create the favorites menu on the product. I think you're getting to that. That's part of the demo. It's on its way shortly.
Yeah.
There was one other point about the specs compatible with GS1, the QR code and so on. I know it's coming in the demo just shortly, so we'll get there.
Yeah, and I see we have a question from Pierre also. Yes,
that's the one.
Oh, that's the one?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll continue.
Keep them coming, no problem. Thank you.
This is the shortcuts. So if you have 5 or 6 different products you produce a lot, then you can add shortcuts here for these fields. When you have selected a product, this field will change to the traceability. So the flow questions we just made earlier and attach it to this product will be shown here, and then the operator can click on the set button or the preset and open a window where he can fill in the traceability. This area is what we are working on right now. So right now it's pallet number 478 and box number 2 I'm filling. And I can see here there should be 4 pieces in a box, and there should be 5 boxes on a pallet. And right now there's 1 box on the pallet.
Yeah.
So it's what we're working on right now. Down here is the progress. So if you're working on a product, it will just count how many items and boxes you packed and how many kilograms. Then you can click on the reset button and reset the counter. So it's like a trip counter in your car.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
If you're working on a production order, sales order, it will also show a progress bar, so you can see how far you with what was the ordered amount.
Yeah.
The top right corner is just the clock, the close button, and then status on if you're connected to the database, to the network, and if it's a laptop, what are the battery level.
Yes.
Here we have some product info. So it shows you the selected product number, what is the product name, what are the production dates, what are the calculated expiry date, and if enabled, the operator can adjust the expiry date. And then if there's some configure some fixed weight, minimum weight, or other weight values on the product. The registration button, the button you click on when you want to make a registration and print out a label. Label design for item, box, and pallet, which was configured in the material catalog. And with the 3 buttons down here, you can print out a label for item, box, and pallet. And when you do that, it will not make a registration. It's just so you have an example of how does the label look like. And last but not least, there is a keypad if you don't have a keyboard attached to the terminal. That was it.
Let's have a look at it.
Did you have a poll, Stuart?
Oh, you did say one other poll. Thank you. I'm just going to launch a next poll. Just updating the last one.
The challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just launch the next poll. So see it from your eyes and your business where you are. What is the most challenging about current systems in place? And it's the reason we ask this question is because it's often what we hear from customers and from current projects we're working on. So let us just know what you think. Thank you very much.
Yes, then I'll jump into the packing station. So now I have opened Scanplant Process, as we call it, and this is the program that will run in the production on the touchscreen. And we have different main menus, and then you get the sub menu here, and I want to select the packing station. Yeah, and it's important to say that this screen is made for a touchscreen, so we try to make large buttons that you can press on with your finger. And also there's input validation on a lot of the fields. So you can see, for instance, here there's a red frame around the weight, and that's because it is the input, the value in this field is not acceptable for what you're doing right now. Also here you can see product is not acceptable because there's no product. So if I, for instance, click registration right now, it will say, user not logged in. I need to log in, sorry.
Always a login.
There's always a login.
There's always a login. We need to know who's doing what. Yep.
Exactly. So if I make a registration right now, it will tell me that you have to fill this field out.
Yeah.
So, and you can either type in the material ID, or you can click on this button to select the product. But there was a question to the shortcuts. So I can just click on this shortcut, and then it will fill in the material ID and start working. If I want to delete a shortcut, I just keep my finger on it, and I make a long click, and it asks me if I want to remove it. I just click yes. If I want to make a new one, I just click on this new button, and then I type in the material ID I want to add. So it's as simple as that. Right now I set up, so I want to produce some products. I want to produce items in box on pallets, and it's items I'm putting on the scale. This is beef, so I've set the traceability. I need to fill in born in, read in, slaughtered by. I can either click on the set button to get the window where I fill it manually, or there can be some preset values. So if I click on preset, I select, we have a vendor called Himmerlands Kød, Himmerlands Meat, and I know they only have Danish beef, so it will fill out the values for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I can type in a comment. Demo. It's operator that can type in demo. Then I need to set a tera, so I can either manually type in a tera value, or I can click on this button, and then I get a list of different packing materials, and I can select the one I want to use. Then it fills in the tera for me. Yeah. And then if I put something on the scale, you can see here in the top right corner, it's the minimum weight is 500 grams. So now I put a little bit less than 500 grams on the scale. If I click registration, it says it's underweight. So now I put a little bit more on and make a registration. So then I got a label out. Don't know if you can see it, but I get some label out. Yeah, and I can just click in. Oh, yeah, I need to remove the item from the scale before I can make a new registration. It's a safety feature. And you can see down here on the log on the left side that I created 2 items, and the first item was the last in the box, so it created the box automatically, and then we started working on a new box. I can see here in the middle that I'm working on pallet 497 and box number 2, and currently there's one item in the box. If I make a new registration, I need to move it again, then there's 2 pieces in the box.
There was a nice piece of user friendliness there where you actually clicked on the log and it enhanced on the whole screen. Yeah, exactly. That was good.
We also have it's called auto registration. So right now I have to click on the button each time I want to make a registration, but it takes time. So you can enable auto registration, and then every time you can see it's now there's a red button here. Every time the weight, the item on the weight on the scale is above the limit, and the scale is steady, it will make an auto registration. So now I put something on the scale, and it makes a registration. Then if I take it off the scale and put back on, it will make a new registration. So, and you can just continue like that.
So it can increase the speed.
Yeah.
There's one more question, Morten. Can we pack more than one box at one time? If I understand that right.
More than box at a time. You can work on one product right now, and then you can change the product and start working on another product, but that will put in another box.
Yeah.
Yes. Right now I'm finished, so I want to disable auto registration, and then I complete the box because there were no boxes. Then I want to complete the pallet, and then I get a pallet label out. And then the pallet is finished. This is for variable weight items. We also have fixed weight items. So if I select the other products, this one, the minced meat, this is a fixed weight product. So you can see there should be no scale connected to it. So here I can just start producing and producing. And this one also has a smart feature, so you can, so it can print automatically, and we call that batch print. So when we enable batch print, we use the sensor in the printer because there's a label taking sensor, so it knows when I take the label, and then it'll automatically print a new label. So now I'm starting the batch print, and then it immediately prints out a label. When I take this label, it will print a new one. And we'll just continue like that until I stop it. Yeah. So that's also, then I don't need to push any button. I can just take out a lot of labels and print it. Yeah.
There's quite a bit of activity on the Q&A.
Yeah.
Can we just take one? There was just a question here, Morten. If we are, for example, packing 50 boxes with fixed weight, can we print out the 50 labels at a time?
For 50 boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I just select box. And for instance, I want to put 10. Oh, I need to select the products. It's because it's fixed to it. Yeah. You can set up on the product if it's only allowed to print items. I can select this product. Then I can click on this scale, set up to manual weight because it wants to have a weight. And then I think it's right click, on the box registration. And right now we set it to 5 because that's the limit, but we can set it to as many as you want. And then I want to print three boxes, for instance. And then it prints 3 box labels for me.
So we answered that question. We didn't want to print the 50 labels here, but we showed how it could be done. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. I'm just going to complete it. Were any more questions?
Yeah. I think I'm following quite well with them. I think one second. It disappeared.
Okay.
It disappeared. I'll come back to it.
I'll continue. We have a button called Edit Palettes. So this is where you can edit the palettes. And here you can see we create a lot of different palettes. And I can click on one of them, and then I can see the boxes on the pallet. And if I click on it again, this is a bad one. Take this one. I can see the items on the pallet, and then I can actually go in, either reprint an item label, or I can delete an item label. And you can see if I delete the item label, then the box and the pallet weight will be updated. So I try to do that. Then you can see the box weight is reduced and the pallet label is reduced. And then I can print a new box label and pallet label with the correct value. Yeah, good.
There's a question more.
Yeah.
From someone who's in the airport and killing time.
Yeah.
When you weigh a box, can you print the box label with one printer and piece labels from the second cut printer?
Yeah.
For example, one box with 6 pieces prints and one box label with 6 piece labels.
Can you print the box label from one printer?
If we understand it right.
Yeah, you can do that. You can have normally you can have up to 2. You can have several label printers connected to a station, but normally you have 1 or 2, and then we can configure. You can see here on the label info, it says printer number, and if there's no field out, it will just print on label printer 1. But we can also say that, for instance, the item is printed on printer 1, and then the box and pallet is printed on label 2.
Yeah.
Printer 2.
Yeah. Just
like I don't know if you saw the hardware we showed you. On one of the stations, there was 2 label printers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I want to try to produce an order also. So if I select order mode here on the top, then I can click on the get order button here at the bottom. Then I get all sales order or production orders for today, and I just select one, select the product, and select. So right now it's selected the product for me, and the pack level and everything like that. So and now you can see the progress bar here at the bottom. So if I put something on the scale and then make a box registration, yes, of course. Then here on the order, it should show how many we have packed. Yeah, you can see now it's 2 boxes, and how far we are with the.
Okay, and this is a faster way to do it, packing to the order.
Yeah, so you can see how far you're with the order.
Yeah.
You know when it's time for lunch.
What if we have to reprint the label, Morten? What if the label breaks or?
It is from the edit palette menu.
It's from the edit one.
Yeah,
okay.
As I showed earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yes. When I'm finished, I click on this clear button at the bottom left side, and then the screen is cleared. Yes. I think that was it for the demo of the packing station.
Yeah, the time has been running.
Yeah.
And it's to keep everyone awake. But let's have a look at the report, because this is also the important data.
Yeah.
What we get out of it.
Yeah. We have some reports. Now we produce something and we want to see the reports. So here we have a production report. And I select it for today and click show. And then it shows me everything we produced today. And this is just a standard report. We can generate all kinds of reports depending on what you would like. So here it shows me that on this terminal, the one I'm working on is terminal 95. We produced this material called beef tenderloin. How long time we took, the pallets that was produced, the amount on the pallet, who did it, what is the weight, what was the expected minimum weight, what is the giveaway, and the giveaway in percentage. And then I can unfold the pallet to see the boxes on that pallet, and I can also unfold the box and see the items. Oh, this was a bad one. If we take this one. Yeah, see the different items that was produced. So you can really dig down, drill down in the report and see where's my giveaway, and see who's responsible for this. Yeah, and also we have a stock report where you can see when you click register and get the label out, it will be added to the stock report. So here you can see the pallets we just produced, 503 and 502.
Yeah.
Yes. That was it.